Good morning, all of you. Children, yesterday we studied one topic, not one topic, we studied many topics. But in those topics, we have to do one correction, and that topic is Wheatstone Bridge, right? That topic is Wheatstone Bridge. These all things you studied yesterday. This was potentiometer, then this was meter bridge. After that, not after that, before that we studied potentiometer, Wheatstone Bridge. Yes, this was the part where we need to do some correction. You look, children, look here carefully. These equations you check. In this equation, with I1 we have taken I3. Okay, with I1 we have taken I3, and what was there in the equation before this? Look, with I1 we have a term carrying I2. This Ig was equal to 0, so this term we got equal to 0. This term we have not written. Okay, so with I1 R1, what should come? I2 R2 should come, have to come. So this correction we have to make, and in the same way here, this Ig part will be getting equal to 0, and with I3 R3 you will be getting I4. So with I1 you have I2, with I3 you have I4. This is the scenario. Now after this scenario, what will be the changes? Let me tell you. Here in place of I3 R3, what will come? I2 R2, and in place of I2 R2, what will you have? I3 R3. So it should be I2 R2, and it must be I3 R3. Because of it, here also we have to make correction. It will be I2 R2, and this will be I3 R3. Here you will have I3 R3, and this is I2 R2. Okay, after that, more changes. Where, see this, because we divided y by x, then after dividing y by x, here you should have I3 R3 upon I1 R1, and here you should have I4 R4 upon I2 R2. So these corrections are also to be done. It will be I3 R3, it will be I2 R2. Okay, after this all the things are same. This I3 will be equal to I1, and I2 will be equal to I4. So these will be cancelled like I told you yesterday. And after that, the result, what will be result? Result will be this. It will be R3 upon R1. It will be R3 upon R1 is equal to R4 upon R2. Okay, now if you are thinking that wherever we used this formula, everywhere we did wrong, then you are thinking wrong. Okay, if you are thinking like that, because earlier the way it was written, it was this: R2 upon R1 is equal to R4 upon R3. Okay, and now this is the correct part what we have written just now. So if you see the change is only that a cross multiplication was required, right? So if you have used this formula, even then the equations, wherever we use this formula afterwards, therever it will be correct. Okay, wherever we used it will be correct. There will be no problem. Only this was the issue here, so I resolved this problem. One child asked this, Anushka asked this, so I told. Okay, no other turned up, so no problem, but still this was a correction to be done, so I told you. Now I hope it is clear to you. So you can use what relation? You can use R3 upon R1. Now you understand it here in the figure, R3 upon R1. What does it mean actually? R3 upon R1 means one resistance this side, one resistance this side, one to the right, one to the left. Okay, is equal to the ratio of R4 upon R2 means 1 to the right, 1 to the left. Okay, like this you have to write. You can also write like this, R1 upon R3, that means left upon right is equal to, now you can write these one, top one, left one upon right one. In this way also you can write. So whatever the way you want to write, you can write. Understood? There will be no problem. Now today we will be doing a new topic, and what is that new topic? New topic, but like in the last video you have seen that we completed the chapter. So what will we be doing here? We will try a few questions. Okay, or what I am saying that doing numerical will take a lot of time here, so we will be continuing with numericals in our in like live in the class when schools reopen. So let us start chapter number 4 today. Chapter number 4 we are starting today. Chapter number 4, children. Chapter number 4 is moving charge and magnetism. So what we study in this chapter, that due to moving charge how magnetism could be produced. Okay, how magnetism could be produced due to a moving charge, this we will study here. These things you have already studied in 10th level, in 10th class, where you studied in the chapter magnetic effect of electric current. In that chapter all these things you have already studied. Okay, so first of all let us see introduction. What is introduction? There was a scientist named Oersted. Okay, so what he did, he just he had taken one wire he had taken, and in that wire he allowed current to flow, suppose in this direction. Then what he has seen that when in this wire there was current flowing, then near to this wire there was a compass kept, and that compass started showing deflection. The needle of that compass, magnetic compass, started showing deflection when current started flowing. Current started flowing, that means when the switch is put on, current started flowing, and at the same time a deflection is seen in the magnetic needle, magnetic compass. So what these all things give idea to that scientist. He said after seeing all these things that moving charge means if in a wire current is flowing, that means it is a moving charge, and a moving charge can produce magnetic field, or you can say magnetism. This result he has taken out or found from that from that incident what happened with him there in his lab. Okay, so also he has shown that magnetic field lines were of circular shape. Magnetic field lines were of circular shape around the current carrying conductor, straight current carrying conductor. These things also you have studied, and also he told about the direction of these magnetic field lines, these concentric circles. So magnetic field around a straight current carrying conductor was in the form of concentric circles. It was in this form. Okay, and after that one more result he derived from this. What he did, he just changed the direction of current. Flowing in this wire. So when he changed the direction of current flowing in this wire, then what he has seen, he saw that the direction of magnetic field also changed. If in the straight current carrying conductor the direction was reversed, like in the downward direction it started flowing, earlier it was flowing in upward direction, then what he has seen? He has seen that the magnetic field direction also get reversed, and the direction of these magnetic field lines was given by using right hand thumb rule. If you remember what you studied in 10th class, right hand thumb rule, using this rule he has given the direction of these magnetic field lines. So in total he told that if a current carrying wire is placed somewhere, then around it magnetism will be produced or magnetic field will be produced. These all things he said. Okay, now what is this? These are the concentric circles which will be seen around a current carrying wire. Here you can see this dot you can see. So what is this dot? This dot is these current carrying wires only. These current carrying wires only. When you see these current carrying wires from the top, it will look like a dot. Okay, it will look like a dot. That dot only is shown here. In the same way, here you can see two dots. You will say that this is not a dot. So children, remember, these are showing direction of current flowing in the wire. You know, in the first case, as you can see, the direction of current is towards upward direction. In the upward direction it is, and in the second part it is in downward direction, right? Now if you would be having these all things on the plane of paper, correct, then what will you say? You will say that this is perpendicular to the plane going upward, and this is going perpendicular to the plane going downward. So remember, perpendicular to plane going downward and upward is shown by these two symbols. Directions perpendicular to the plane, directed outward and inward is shown by these two symbols. This is directed upward, and the other cross is directed downward. You can also call it inward, and you call it outward. Okay, so this cross means the direction of any physical quantity is perpendicular to plane and going inward or downward, and this dot means direction of physical quantity is upward, or you can say outward to the plane of paper, right? After this, what is next thing? Next is this is the scientist on your right side, Hans Christian Oersted. He only shown these things. Now after this, what do you have? Next topic is magnetic force. Children, now as you have studied that a stationary charge can produce electric field, like a point charge will produce electric field given by this formula, and that electric field can apply force on any other charge. Okay, that also you studied in the Coulomb's law, right? So if we said that an electric field can apply force on a stationary charge, or on a charge, then we can say that magnetic field also can produce some force, can provide some force, can push a charge or can apply force on any charge like electric field do or does. So what will be the force due to magnetic field? Force due to magnetic field will be given by this, like this. Here it is shown. Okay, let me explain you what is written here. Children, the force applied by the electric field is given by QE vector, and the force applied by the magnetic field is given by QV cross B vector. Okay, QE vector, this is force due to electric field, and QV cross B, this is force due to magnetic field, right? The sum of these two forces gives you the total force, and this total force is called as Lorentz force. This total force is called as Lorentz force. Okay, this part belongs to the magnetic field, this part belongs to the electric field. Now you concentrate over this formula, the force which is produced due to magnetic field. It is QV cross B. Now what is this Q? This Q is the charge on which force will be applied. This V is what? V is the velocity. V is the velocity of charge with which it is moving in the magnetic field, and this B vector is the magnitude of magnetic field in which the charge will be moving. Okay, so we can say that the force formula due to magnetic field, it is QV cross B. Now you just see in which case we can say that force due to magnetic field will be 0. What are those cases? Those cases could be when V is equal to 0. V is equal to 0 means when the charge is at rest. When the charge will be at rest in magnetic field, at that time magnetic field will not apply any force on that charge particle. One is this case, right? I am again writing formula, but this time I am writing in magnitude form. V cross B will be equal to VB sin theta. So this becomes your formula, right? Now this force will be equal when velocity will be equal to 0. Correct. The other case could be when the sin theta gives you value 0. So when could be possible that sin theta value will be equal to 0? It will be equal to 0 when you will have theta is equals to 0. Theta is equal to 0 means theta was the angle between two quantities. One is B and one is V and one is B. Okay, if between them you will have 0 angle, that means V vector and B vector will be in the same direction. That means the motion of charge particle is in the direction of magnetic field. In that case theta will be equal to 0, and in that case no force will be experienced by a charge particle. So these are two special cases in which force could be 0. Okay, these are the two special cases in which force could be 0. Otherwise it could be 0 when there is no charge. It is very easy to say, and also it will be 0 when there will be 0 magnetic field. But these two cases are really important, which I told you, the cases in which force could be 0. Let us see after this what all things we have. Okay, so this is the point in which it is shown that the case when velocity will be equal to 0, you will have no force exerted on the charge particle. Okay, so these all things are given here. After that, magnetic field, right? Magnetic field, you can see here from the same formula, like F is equals to QVB sin theta, we can obtain this, that B is equals to F upon QV. How can we obtain? See, from here we can say B is equals to F upon QV sin theta. This theta will be equal to 1 in case when you have 90-degree angle between velocity and magnetic field. That means you can say when the particle is moving normal to magnetic field, then you can say theta will be 90-degree, and after that what magnetic field you will get? You will get Q upon F upon QV, right? This is the same formula. We are getting here. Okay, like you can see. After that, what is written? The unit of B means magnetic field. The unit of magnetic field are Newton second per coulomb meter. Okay, this will be the unit, and also you can call it Tesla. Symbol is capital T, and this name is given after the name of Nikola Tesla, which was a great scientist. Tesla is rather a larger unit. It is a very large unit. So in a smaller unit, what is its smaller form? Its smaller form is Gauss. 1 Gauss is equals to, remember, there are 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla is called, it is also used often. The Earth's magnetic field. You know that earth also behaves like a magnet, so it is also having a magnetic field, and it is very weak. It is very weak. It is how much? 3.6 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. Okay, this is the approximate magnitude of magnetic field of earth. This is the magnitude of magnetic field of various on various surfaces. It is you can see on the surface of earth, just like we studied just now, 10 to the power 5 order is the magnitude of magnetic field of many surfaces. It is given here. After this, we know that magnetic field can apply force on a charged particle like electric field does. So can we say that magnetic field applies force on a current carrying conductor also, or the force which is produced by magnetic field, it can push a current carrying conductor also? So the answer is yes, because in current carrying conductor, what do you have? You have current. Okay, and current is what? Current is the rate of flow of charge. That means inside conductor you have charge only, and if that current carrying conductor is placed in magnetic field, then it will also experience some magnitude, some magnetic force. So that magnetic force we have to calculate here. Okay, so for this force we have to do one derivation. So let us start. Suppose there is a conductor and the area of cross section of that conductor is A and length is L. Also one more thing I am considering here, N is the number density. N is the number density. What is number density? Number density means number of charged particles, or you can say electrons, number of electrons per unit volume. Can you tell me what will be the volume of this conductor? Volume of this conductor will be Al. Okay, now number of electrons in this conductor will be N into Al, means N into volume of conductor. Why? Because in unit volume there are N electrons, then in Al volume how many electrons will be there? N into Al. Then after this, what will be the total number of charged particles? You know that charge is given by Ne. So N is what? Number of electrons here. It is equals to NaL into what will come? A will come. So this is the charge you are getting here, right? After this, few minutes ago you just studied that force on a charged particle due to magnetic field, it is given by QVB. It is given by QVB, or you say QV cross B only. You say QV cross B. This is the force applied on charged particle due to magnetic field. Now the value of this charge we will be replacing by NaLe. So it will be NaLe into what is this? V. Now you know that these are electrons. These electrons are moving inside conductor, and you know electrons move with drift velocity. Electrons move with drift velocity. So what can you say? You can say that this V is equal to Vd, and what will come here? B. Okay. Now after this, in this product, in all these values, you just find out, do you have this NaVdE, NaVdE, NaVd and E? All the things we have here. So what we can do in place of all of these things, we can write simply I. We can simply write I. And what is left? What will left? You will be having L only. Except these all things, you will be having L, and these all things are replaced by I. So what can I write? I can write IL cross B. I can write IL cross B, and this is the formula of force which will act on a current carrying conductor whose length is L and kept in magnetic field B. Now B, you will be given direction of magnetic field, but what will be the direction of L vector? Direction of L vector we will find out with the help of I in the conductor, wherever in which direction the current will be flowing, in the same direction you will have L vector, right? So like this we can find out the direction of L vector and B vector. After this, what will be our next topic? Let us see. So like this we got F is equals to IL cross B. Okay. Then we have one numerical. This numerical is very easy, you can try yourself. Okay, then next topic is motion in a magnetic field. That means if a charge you have taken, and you place that charge in magnetic field, like this, it is shown here. There is a charge particle. This charge particle was moving in a particular direction. It is also shown here. And so what will happen if a charge particle you have and it is moving in a particular direction in magnetic field? Okay, this cross is representing the direction of magnetic field. Now how it is representing? This cross means the magnetic field. If you are looking in computer or you are looking in mobile, then this cross means the direction of magnetic field will be coming out, in a way coming out from your screen, from the screen of your mobile or computer. Okay, and this dot means a direction which is going into the screen of mobile or computer. Similarly, you can take example of page also. Okay, I hope you understood the direction of magnetic field. So the direction of magnetic field is going into the plane of screen, you can say, or plane of page if you are writing on page. The direction of V you can see. Now if magnetic field is going into the plane, right, and velocity is just to the right side, you can see here, then how much angle will be made between magnetic field and the velocity vector? It will be 90 degree. And in case the angle between V and B vector, the angle is 90 degree, in that case what can you say? You can say that force will be QVB sine 90, and this sine 90 becomes equal to 1. So ultimately how much force will be acting? QVB. This force will be acting on the charge particle which is moving perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay, so let me make one figure for you. So here I have shown you the direction of magnetic field by making cross. It means the direction of magnetic field is perpendicular to screen and going into the screen, right? After this, let us take one charge, and that charge we have taken in what direction? We will take in a direction which will be perpendicular to the magnetic field. Suppose a charge, if it is moving in this direction, right, then this direction is what? This direction is towards right, and green arrows are showing magnetic field which is normal to the screen, inward direction. So the angle between them will be 90 degree. Okay, so this is the scenario in which charge particle is moving in the magnetic field. Suppose the charge particle, we assumed that the charge particle was here at any time, and this is the direction of motion of the charge particle. Okay, then what will you see? You will see that on this charge particle there will be a force. Okay, and that force which that force we can give using this formula. Now children, in this chapter there will be a role of direction, like you have seen in the previous chapters also. So can you tell that the direction of force will be in which direction, which will be acting on this charge particle? On this charge particle, this force will act in a direction where you will have V cross B. Now V cross B, the direction of this cross product, again we can give with the help of right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule. This rule I taught you in 11th class also. Again let us repeat. You have to take your right hand, keep your fingers straight, okay, and thumb stretched, right? Now what you have to do, you have to roll your fingers. You have to roll your fingers in a way that fingers first should be pointing in the direction of first vector, and then you roll your fingers so that they come in the direction of second vector, which is the direction of magnetic field. If you will roll your hands in that way, then you will be able to see that a force will start acting in this direction. You apply right hand thumb rule, and I am sure that you will get this direction of force. Okay, now if in this direction of force charge particle, if in this direction the charge particle will experience force, then this charge particle will try to move in upward direction. I am correct? But what do you have along with this force? The charge also have some momentum in the forward direction. Now there are two cases acting at the same time. A force is acting in this direction, okay, and momentum is in this direction. So due to these two forces or these two momentums, there will be a force which will act just between them. So a net force will act in this direction, which will allow charge to move like this, okay. And when again, so if the charge particle will follow this path, then what will be the direction of charge particle when the charge reaches here? The direction of motion of charge particle when the charge reaches here will be this direction, okay. So what this force is doing, actually it is this force is changing the direction of motion. It changed the direction of motion from this side to this side to this side to this side, and ultimately changes in upward. It turned the charge particle to move in upward direction. The same result, the same effect you can see here if I draw like this. See, if I draw it, then it will be the path, the path which charge will follow, it will be like this. Slowly and slowly it will change the direction of motion, or you can say the direction in which velocity you have. At this time, if the charge particle is here, at that time the direction of motion will act in upward direction, okay, which will produce force in which direction? It will produce a force in this direction. So if the direction of force you will have like this, then again the path of charge particle will change, and between these two arrows or between these two directions, the charge particle will find out its path and reaches here after some time. When the charge reaches here, again as the direction of motion is changing at every instant, at this time the direction of motion will be like this, and the direction of force at this time will be in this way, towards downward direction. Now again, because of these two forces or these two momentum, you can say the charge particle again will change the path, and it will start following a circular path in this way. A circular path will start following. This charge particle will acquire a circular path in this way. When it is following a circular path, it is following a circular path when the motion of charge particle is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay. The main thing here is you should know how to apply right hand thumb rule, which we studied many times in 11th class. So I think that you won't be having any problem in applying this right hand thumb rule. Also you remember that every time this force will be changing the direction of motion. Direction of motion means direction of velocity. Okay. And ultimately the charge will start acquiring a circular path. And children, one more thing I want to tell you here, if the charged particle will follow a circular path, then you remember any particle can acquire a circular path when it is experiencing a centripetal force, right? And centripetal force is given by mv square upon r. This also we studied in the last class. Now children, one thing you check here, what is that force which is providing or yes, you can say providing or working like centripetal force here. So that force which is working like centripetal force here is this force which is acting on charged particle due to the magnetic field. Due to magnetic field, we have seen this force was acting on the charged particle. So this force will be ultimately equal to the force of centripetal, or you can say centripetal force. That means we can equate these two forces. One force is QVB when the charged particle is in magnetic field and moving normal to it, and this force will be equal to mv square upon r, because moving perpendicularly in magnetic field, charge acquires a circular path. So from here what you can say, 1v we can cut by 1v. In that case you will get QB is equals to mv upon r, and from here you can say that r will be equal to mv upon QB. Now what is this r? This r is radius. This r is radius of the circular path which the charged particle acquired after moving perpendicular to magnetic field. Okay, so this is the radius of that circular path, right? So today we are taking up to here only in this video. Today we just have taken given an introduction first of all, and after that force on current carrying conductor on a charged particle which will be moving perpendicular to magnetic field. These two derivations we did today. After that we will see that if the charged particle will not be perpendicular to magnetic field, what will happen in that case, and then so many things are there in the chapter. So we will try to finish this chapter in the next week. Today we started this chapter, and the numericals if possible we will do in the class when school reopens, like I said. So now I just want to say you that you revise all the things and stay safe.